Hello and welcome to Beyond Bulbasaur. I'm your host Kendall. In the anime, Team Rocket describes Magikarp as the king of carp, Magikarp. Does this mean that there are in fact carp in the Pokemon world? Perhaps there used to be carp back before the war killed most of the adult males or whatever fan theory you subscribe to. Maybe people don't in fact eat Pokemon, besides Farfetch'd of course, but that's a story for another time. Maybe there are domesticated animals that are bred for meat somewhere else. It's the first obtainable water-type Pokemon in the Gen 1 games if you don't start with Squirtle. The first of many, but it's still pretty great. The only attack it knows is Splash, which does nothing. At some point, it learns Tackle, but even then, it's not exactly a fighter. It's such a cool little storytelling moment when the salesman tricks you into buying Magikarp for 500 Pokedollars, and then once he sells it to you, he immediately says no refunds. Of course, I never wanted a refund because I knew, whether from a guide or from a friend, I'm not quite sure, that Magikarp would evolve into Gyarados. In those many playthroughs of Gen 1, I would always give Magikarp to the folks at the daycare center on my way out of Cerulean City and pick him back up before going to Rock Tunnel. It timed out almost perfectly that he was just about at a level high enough to evolve. The other way to obtain Magikarp in those early games was by getting the old rod from the fishing guru in Vermilion. It was kind of lame that you could only catch the one Pokemon with the old rod, but if it was only going to work for one water type, Magikarp was a great choice. Pokemon Go made catching even the most common Pokemon more exciting. Antrim Park, the park where I got married a few years prior, is just a few minutes drive from my apartment, and it was a great place to catch Magikarp. In the back of the park, there's a lake with a walking trail that's a little over a mile. When I was trying to catch enough Magikarp to evolve to Gyarados, I set Magikarp as my buddy and walked lap after lap, mile after mile, until I had the 400 candies necessary to evolve into a Gyarados. People give Pokemon Go a bad rap, mostly because a bunch of questionably reported anecdotes from the first week or two of the game breaking the internet, many of which were obviously false and written by people who didn't understand how the game worked. But it got people out of their house, talking to others in their community, and excited to explore metro parks. I eventually lost interest in the game, but I still go back to the handful of metro parks that I discovered when I was super into it. And my wife, who is the definition of an indoor kid, still takes walks on community day, something she never would have done otherwise. I think I bought my wife a pair of Magikarp socks a few years ago. Anyway, that's all I have on Magikarp. Thanks for listening. Keep catching them all.